Welcome to Out of Sockets, and this is my 1997 Mazda MX-5 Miata, and I am here to tell you about it as we get it back on the road. It's a little rough right now, around the edges, but she's still a beaut. If any car gives off golden retriever energy, I think it's this one right here, the NA Miata with the pop-up headlights. And that's why I'm so excited that this car is mine. Well, it's your wife's actually. Okay, well, sorta. But I don't think she was actually being serious about that though. Where'd you come from anyway? I'm you. So you're here to help me, right? No, that's him. Who? Hello there. I don't have time for you guys. We'll talk later. I gotta go get a few things to get started anyway. Oh, you're doing that bit? Hey, I mean, yes, but no. I actually am missing a socket, but I have a few other things that we gotta get to get started on this car. So we're gonna go get those things, and you guys are gonna stay here. Can I come with? No. So we actually do have a few things that we've gotta pick up from the auto parts store. And yeah, one of them is a 10 mil socket. It's not a bit. I actually lost it, and I'll tell you guys that story. I think there's something serious going on with big 10 mil in the industry, but I don't think you guys are ready to hear about it yet, so I'll let you know about it later. But I think they've got what I need over there. And we got a few parts. We want to get this car running, not just safely, although that is the first and most important thing, safely, but somewhat reliably. It stalls out right now, and also the brakes don't work. So yeah, I'd like to get it ready to go in time to register it in the state of Florida within the 30 days. Also, what I hope to do today and in the following videos is convince you why you should get a project car to work on, just like I did. And I hope you learn some things to do from the things that I've learned, and I hope you learn some things not to do from the things that I did. And I'll tell you about that as well as we work on the Miata. The other thing I should mention about the Miata is I'd like to work on it in stages, and stage one I've already kind of told you about, which is get it safe enough to just get to the DMV and register it. By the way, they didn't have a 10 mil like I thought they did. As you can see, a lot of the interior is missing. My first full day with this car, I immediately started taking things apart. I was just too excited to wait till we could record anything. I'm most excited about getting the idle air control valve fixed, so we're gonna start there. And by start there, of course, I meant add the fuel additive first while we're back here and while we can pop the fuel gas cap, because I never do anything according to plan or in order. So I haven't looked at this yet to see where the idle air control valve is, but from my research, it looks like it's gonna be in this area, I think right around here. So actually I think it's right underneath. We're gonna have to get underneath there to be able to get that out. But when we get that out, we'll be able to clean it out and see if the idle does improve. And just to show you what it's like, let me get the key and I'll show you what it's like before we even fix it. I'll start it up. It might run fine for a few seconds and it'll immediately start to die. Of course, she decides to run fine while you guys are here. At least fine enough not to stall. She's getting close. The big problem is when driving, so that's why I tried to rev it. When driving, if it stalls, you lose things like your brakes. Now, the reason I've narrowed it down to the idle air control valve is that I can hold the throttle body open enough to idle at a decent RPM, and it's fine. So I don't think it's a problem with fuel. I don't think it seems to be a problem with spark. I think it's air, and specifically air at idle. When diagnosing an issue of your engine running rough, those are the three things. You've either got to check your air, your fuel, or your spark. So you got to make sure you're getting good, clean fuel into the engine, and if your injectors are good, your fuel pump is good, and the fuel is good, then that's good. If your spark plugs are good and they're getting power, then that's good. Then it could be an air problem. And I haven't checked those things, but the air problem seems to be the easiest and cheapest fix. And again, the symptoms point to that in this scenario. But it's not dying, so we're just gonna turn it off and we're gonna take it out and clean it up anyway. And we're gonna see what it looks like on the inside. I'm gonna start by getting this screw out. And after that, we should be able to pop this off and some other things to get to the throttle body. The idle air control valve looks like it's right below that. So we're going to get that out by getting all this out first, and we'll see what that looks like. Luckily, this one here is a 12, not a 10. While I was in the trunk, I remembered that I have a battery vent tube that we got to replace. So I'm going to put a pause on that just because I don't want to forget about this, which means I might forget about that, but we'll cross that bridge later. And just so you know, the Miata battery is back here. The thing is, most batteries being in an engine compartment get ventilation, but when they're not, apparently they do release hydrogen gas, which I guess in an enclosed container, hydrogen, it's not the safest gas to put under pressure in a car that has explosions coming out of the pipe right there. So yeah, we're gonna make sure it's ventilated properly so that we live. We like life. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program, getting those last 2 bolts off on the bottom. Well, nuts, I guess. I mean, that was important. So of course, if we had to take a cut to that, and you're gonna have to get used to that because that's how I work. And so let me get what I need. I need an extension to be able to get to those bottom ones. Brand new, just bought these. They're wobbly as well, so the angle is gonna be tough, and I think that'll help out with that bottom right one specifically. This one was a bolt. So I think I found one of the issues. This pipe that takes air from here, the intake tubing, to bypass the throttle body and instead go through the intake air control valve and into the intake manifold, it's ripped and torn. So we're gonna have to figure out what to do about that. But let's go ahead and remove this anyway to get it out of the way and continue getting out this intake air control valve. That was bad. Apparently that's all you got to do to get the throttle cable off. Now what else is our holdup? So definitely that seafoam is going to help us clean out some of this gunk that is also in there, which even though the outside of the throttle body looked good, I am now pretty sure the idle air control valve is going to be the problem. I think I'm just going to remove the idle air control valve off the throttle body rather than taking all this apart. These pipes are too tough to get out. These last screws don't want to come out, nor do these pipes. So say hello to my little friend. So this here's the idle air control valve I was talking about, and here's the 4 screws we got to get to get it off the throttle body to be able to clean up any gunk in here. That would allow air to pass in through here and back out here to get this little hole in here to get into the throttle. All right, no more Mr. Nice Guy. We got the impact out. We're getting these screws out one way or another. Well, that one said no, so I guess maybe we're not getting these out one way or another. All right, I got the other 2 out, so never underestimate the importance of patience and also the right size bit for the screws you're working with. Let's see if the other 2 will come out, even though they're mostly stripped at this point. So the reason the seatbelt is an issue is on the driver's side, all we had is a lap belt. The seatbelt for the driver's side was in the car, but it's fully locked up. I got it sent it to get repaired. So until I do that, I'm gonna take this one out. I looked online and it looks like they're symmetrical. So I'm gonna unbolt this and bolt it on the driver's side, and then we'll have a seatbelt for the driver. How am I doing the slow way? 1 second. That's more like it. Just like that. I lied. One more little clip holding here, and then just like that, this is out. If this is a 10mm bolt, I might scream. I found a different 10mm than what I wanted, and sure enough, that's exactly what we're working with right here. Okay, now we can zip out this lap belt and put in the passenger side seat belt and that'll be one step closer to driving this. Just like that, I've got me a driver's side seatbelt that we can use. And with that, we're gonna have to call it a wrap and clean up this mess. So I'm gonna get on that. Well, this is just one of the joys of working on a project car. Again, you should get one. You never know what you're gonna find. You never know what problems you'll face. And even little jobs like cleaning an intake air control valve that is just supposed to be the appetizer to a brake job can become the whole meal for the day. I'm William, by the way.
Goggles, get out of here. I want to talk to them. Hey, name's Trey. Thanks for being here, I guess. Don't know why you... Hey, what do you want? I don't trust you in front of the camera. Move.
Fine. I'm Will, by the way. Thanks for joining. Sorry about those guys and their interruption at the beginning and end here. But thank you for joining, for being part of this first video that I've made on the Miata. I have a name for this project. I haven't told you yet, and I don't have time to explain it, so I'll tell you next time we're together. Now, I told you that I would let you know why you should get a project car. Firstly, it is a great way to save money. Now, of course, up front, it's gonna cost a lot of money. But when I say save money, what I mean is you're going to gain skills and experience to fix cars for the rest of your life and save money having to send that car out. It'll also save you money on having a rental car in case you're ever down a car, because you have a backup that might not be polished and showroom ready, but if it can run and drive, you can use that till you can fix your daily and then keep working on that project car. The second big reason I found out why a project car is so great to have around is I actually enjoy working on cars for the first time. When you only have one car and you gotta work on something on it, it's gotta be put back together before you need it again, usually the very next day. So far with the Miata, if I have to leave things kind of messy, which I need to get better at cleaning up when I'm done, I can do that. If I need to leave it up on jack stands, I can do that. If I have to run to the parts store for the 14th time and I don't want to do it today, I can wait. When something gets stuck and I don't have the right tool, or I've got to order something and wait on it, no problem. And everything that I fix, there's a sense of accomplishment and joy that I'm bringing something that had been worn out, worn down, and I'm trying to make it closer to what it would have been when it rolled off the factory line. We won't quite get all the way there, but I'd love to get pretty close. I'd love for this car to look and drive like a fairly newer vehicle than what it actually is. Actually, back to the saving money point, I have been budgeting much better because it's expensive. I guess that's not quite a good thing. It depends how you judge it. I am saving more, but I'm probably spending more than I was before. While newer vehicles are a depreciating asset, usually a project car is going to be older and cheaper, and it's probably hit rock bottom. If you keep it long enough, if it's a desirable car, you might actually see it appreciate one day if you keep it, if you fix it up. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to be putting money into. And if, like me, your project car gets better gas mileage than your daily, when it is fixed up, I can start saving money by driving it. I'm no environmentalist, but some people make the argument that restoring and keeping cars on the road is better for our environment than buying brand new electric vehicles. I don't know all the details behind that, but I'm gonna look into that because there is something to that. We have a bunch of parts and a bunch of cars that go to landfills or junkyards and just deteriorate. If we can keep them on the road, keep them moving, that could be better overall. Even if electric vehicles are the future we have to transition to, project cars can be fun for other reasons. Because they're not as common on the road today, it might bring joy to other people. Just the other day, I saw a group of kids walking by, and they were so excited to see a Miata. And they were motioning for me to flip up the pop-up headlights, and I obliged, of course. And they were all excited over it. You don't see many cars with pop-up headlights, and honestly, that is why I wanted the NA instead of any other Miata. They're all great,
but the pop-ups have so much character. And they're so cool. So a project car can save you money in the long term. It can make working on cars more fun once again. And it just brings joy to you, to others. It might even be good for the environment. The last thing I want to do is thank you for watching to this point if you're still here with me. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. I want to thank my wife for letting me get the Miata for her. I got to tell you about that one too. And most of all, I want to thank the Lord for being in the position that I can get a car just for fun to work on, to learn, and to share this with others who might want to be interested in what it looks like. I don't necessarily want to just be a how-to channel. I'm not the best person to learn from, but I would like to show you that it is possible. That with just a little bit of time a week, money over time, buying the parts you need, that you too can restore a car and bring it back and have fun doing it and have fun driving it. So continue following along if you would like to just have fun, learn from the many mistakes I'm gonna make. And if you wanna see something special with this Miata, or maybe with any other cars I might get, continue to follow along and see the process and the journey. It'll probably take time to get there. I'm sure there'll be out-of-pocket moments to keep it interesting throughout the time, but ultimately, I know that almost every week, some way, somehow, I'm gonna be out of a part or a tool, but we'll always be out of sockets.